I've been thinking about the same question that keeps popping up in a lot of office chair forums. Who is the Humanscale Freedom with Headrest actually good for? Who should walk away? And does the price make sense for the everyday remote worker or home office gamer? If you're on the fence, you're not alone. There's a real risk of splurging on a high-end chair that ends up feeling like a gimmick once you sit down for 8 hours. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the Freedom isn't a one-size-fits-all deal. It's built around the idea of a self-adjusting backrest that responds to the way you move, which means it shines for people who spend a lot of time shifting between typing, reading, and leaning back to think. If you're the type who alternates between a focused, upright posture and a more relaxed, reclined stance throughout the day, that pivoting back will actually follow you so you don't have to keep fiddling with levers. On the flip side, if you sit mostly in a static, upright position and never recline, you probably won't notice the biggest selling point of this chair. In that scenario, you might be better off with a simpler, less pricey model that still offers decent lumbar support. The first practical strength I saw is the headrest integration. A lot of chairs either bolt a headrest onto an already complex mechanism or keep it as a separate add-on, which can feel awkward or unstable. Here the headrest sits low enough that it doesn't interfere when you're typing, but lifts into place when you tilt back. In a typical work-from-home setup where you'll have a double monitor rig and perhaps a reading lamp, that extra support eases the strain on the neck when you glance up at the screen or unwind with a paperback at the end of the day. It's a subtle benefit, but after a few weeks you start to feel the difference in how your shoulders stay relaxed. Another real-world advantage is the Duron arms, which have a standard height adjustment but also a subtle forward tilt. I tried the chair at a co-worker's desk that has a deep-set keyboard tray, and the arms let you bring the elbows closer without crushing the forearms against the desk surface. For anyone using an ergonomic keyboard and mouse setup, that extra range of motion means your forearms stay in a more natural line, reducing the forearm fatigue people often complain about after long typing sessions. It also works well for artists or designers who need a little extra sway room when they position a tablet on the desk. Now let's talk about the wheels. The Freedom comes with hard floor casters, but you can swap in the optional soft tread models if you have hardwood or polished tile. The hard casters roll smoothly over carpet and don't snag, which is handy if you have a mixed surface office. However, on a sleek hardwood floor the hard wheels can leave small scratches if you're not careful, so you'll want to purchase the soft casters or a protective mat. That extra cost isn't huge, but it's a hidden trade-off you won't see on the spec sheet. On the downside, the Freedom's price tag is definitely in the premium range. If you're a freelancer on a tight budget, the $200 plus price might feel like a gamble, especially when you consider that many mid-tier chairs now offer mesh backs and adjustable lumbar supports for a fraction of the cost. The chair's weight and the fact that the backrest pivots via a spring-loaded mechanism can also make it feel a bit busy to some people. I noticed that when you first sit down, the backrest makes a soft click as it finds its neutral point. That motion is part of the design, but if you're the kind of person who prefers a completely static chair, the constant micro-adjustment can be distracting. Another practical weakness is the assembly. The Freedom isn't a flat pack that you bolt together in 10 minutes. The base, seat, backrest, and arm components all need to be aligned precisely, and you'll need a set of Allen wrenches that come in the box. Most reviewers have said they managed it on their own, but if you're not comfortable with furniture assembly, you might have to ask a friend or hire someone. That factor adds at least an hour of time and a little extra mental load before you can even start using the chair. A common question I've heard from people with larger frames is whether the seat width and depth can accommodate them. The Freedom seat is about 20 inches wide, which feels generous for most users, but the depth is on the shorter side, roughly 18 inches. That means if you have longer thighs, you might find the edge of the seat pressing against your knees when you sit all the way back. The contoured cushions are molded to follow body shape, which helps distribute weight, but it doesn't magically add extra depth. For taller or heavier users, the chair's weight capacity of 300 pounds is adequate, but the seat geometry may feel